Hello. I wanted to make a reply to something on Twitter through YouTube. Do things a little bit differently. I have a friend on Twitter, good friend, going by the name of Glistened Sparks, who has sent me some interesting tweets. It's a series of tweets because you can only put 140 characters max in each one, and so it's all sort of tied together. It's for people who aren't used to Twitter, it probably seems a little strange having to put things together this way, but I'll just read it as if it's one thing here. Let me find it. I've got it up on my SMS on my telephone, and hopefully it won't skip back on me. Okay. Where was that? Okay, here it is. The question was, or statement was, I wonder how possible it is to defend God's existence. Not very easy, considering it is supernatural / magical in nature, when you consider the proposed definition by many who believe. It's so general, not that distinct. And many people believe that it is unchanging and perfect as is, but that defies... Oh, it just skipped up on me. Something to the effect of that defies our experience in real life. Okay, so let's go to that. How easy is it to prove the existence of God when it's supernatural or magical in nature? Well, I would say this much. I agree with the idea that the definition of God varies from person to person, and it's generally pretty vague and not real distinct or clear-cut. So let's go with a really standard definition of God, or at least a partial definition of God, by saying, which God are you talking about, and answering the question there. Now, if I ask somebody, which God are you talking about, and they say, well, the good one, okay, that distinguishes from, for example, the bad God. Now, there might be more than one good one or more than one bad one. But at least then we're narrowing it down to something that is a little easier to prove the existence of if it happens to exist. Or at least to clarify what it is we're talking about. Now, if a person says the only God, right there they've made it impossible to prove its existence. Because for the same reason that you cannot disprove the existence of the Easter Bunny, or Santa Claus, or Mr. Spock from Star Trek, or flying reindeer, it is also impossible to disprove any of the many different definitions of God out there. Now, you could prove that they're logical fallacies. You could prove that they would defy the laws of nature. But some of them, some will, some won't. But the fact that something defies the laws of nature does not prove that it doesn't exist. It may prove that it doesn't exist within a region of space-time that obeys those laws of nature. That's a different story. But we have no proof that all we see is all there is. We have no way of proving that to be the case because we don't know what we don't know. So, if anyone says their God is the only God, right there they've denied themselves the ability to prove their God's existence. Their God may exist. It may not. There's absolutely no way to prove it. And as soon as anyone has proven that any other God exists, they've disproven that God. By definition, if it's an other God, then the only God, which is not the same God, couldn't exist. Now, if they prove a God exists, they haven't disproven the only God exists, because that might be it. But if they prove a God exists, and that God fails to match some other part of the definition from the person who said that their God is the only God, then they've proven that that only God doesn't exist. It's a rare case where non-existence can actually be proven.